So everyone, in today's video, I'm gonna run through how my student made his first 10K a month with Amazon FBA. And we're gonna run through everything that he did, all the things he learned, all the challenges that he faced, and how you can do the same. So before we dive into any details about how my student Cedric got this result and hit his 10K month, let's meet him. Cedric, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, friend. How are you?
So tell us a bit about yourself, bro.
Yeah, obviously my name's Cedric. I'm 20 years old. I'm currently a finance degree apprentice and I've been doing FBA for around a year now.
So tell us a bit about how life was before you started Amazon FBA.
Yeah, so life before FBA, I was currently in sixth form, considering going to uni, but I'm currently doing a degree apprenticeship now. And I just wanted to find ways to make money online, really. Just trying to find how to make, a couple extra hundred a month, because obviously I would just be relying on my paychecks, which obviously wasn't really comfortable for me at that stage at the time.
So how did you actually discover Amazon FBA and why did you decide to join SS University?
So I discovered FBA around 2022. Obviously, as I said before, I just wanted to start, making money through a certain side hustle. I obviously bought a course from a certain influencer, which was quite expensive, to be honest. And unfortunately, the information I was given about, FBA wasn't good enough. So I kind of failed in my first year. And obviously I felt like giving up because obviously I wasn't given the right guidance. Didn't have the right mentor, to kind of push me to become successful in this kind of side hustle. But then obviously I came across you. I found you through a TikTok and I was like, why not, to be honest? Obviously sent you a message, I think through email, and then just got started from there, really.
What were your initial expectations when you joined?
I didn't really have much expectation, to be honest, because obviously being kind of scammed before by someone through FBA, I was kind of expecting the kind of same thing, but I still wanted to give it a shot, give it a second chance, because I can see how a lot of people were making results through FBA. But obviously, fast forward to now, before I wasn't really making any sales when I started. Couldn't even make my first sale, but fast forward to now, I'm starting to make around 10K in revenue.
So fast forward to your first sales, why did you start with online arbitrage instead of like a wholesale or private label? And how much did you actually have to invest, obviously doing this as a side hustle?
So I started with online arbitrage because it was the most easiest to kind of set up with. Didn't need a lot of capital to start as well, which was quite useful. And it just gives you an insight of what, how to start selling really on Amazon. So I started initially with around £200. Obviously use that to go through online stores, retailers, come into stores as well. So I did a bit of resale arbitrage as well to kind of invest that money to therefore resell on Amazon as well.
Obviously at the start, a lot of people struggle and talk about like finding products and finding websites. Like how did you navigate through those challenges? How did you actually find products and things like that?
Yeah, so obviously at the start, trying to kind of source for different products was kind of hard because again, there's like millions of different websites, stores out there, and it's hard to find kind of the right one to find the right products to sell. But obviously with your support and guidance, and through the Discord, we've obviously created a sourcing plan to kind of guide not just myself but other sellers as well to find the right products, source on your own, to therefore obviously sell on Amazon. So obviously with the support from that, I was able to kind of look for products at different retailers, websites, shops, and then also find products for myself as well to sell.
And think outside the box.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So in terms of sort of like workflow and profitability, how did you find that in terms of differences between online arbitrage and wholesale? What were the two or couple main differences with those?
I'd say with online arbitrage, obviously the ROI compared to wholesale was very high, was higher in fact.
Yeah.
But in terms of kind of trying to look for deals, especially with doing a job, trying to look for deals, kind of sourcing was quite an issue. So obviously stepping into wholesale was the big difference for me. And obviously in terms of the returns, wholesale can generate greater returns than online arbitrage, because obviously you can start then to replenish the products that you find.
So we obviously discussed sourcing as something being difficult as a new seller, but what were some other things that you struggled with and how did you overcome them?
I feel like the main things I struggled with when I started were kind of getting used to Amazon software, because obviously as a newbie, as a new seller, you need to kind of start selling to kind of get it really. So that was one thing. In terms of listing products as well, does take a bit of a while too at the start, but once I got the hang of it, it was pretty much really easy to just list products quickly as well. And also I'd say Amazon's policies, because they do have a lot of rules you kind of have to follow when selling. But obviously with your support and guidance through the Discord, I was able to understand everything and therefore sell really. So.
Now you saw some good results quite fast with online arbitrage, and then you obviously decided to scale to wholesale. What was it for you to decide to change from that business model to wholesale? Why did you go about doing that, and what kind of steps did you take to do so?
I feel like with obviously online arbitrage, again, with your support and guidance, I was able to scale quite quickly. I was able to generate a lot of income from the start of Amazon FBA. to therefore transition into wholesale. Obviously, wholesale you do need quite a lot of capital, but the returns for wholesale can be really, really good, which I liked, and I feel like I was ready once I, had that amount of capital ready, which therefore obviously made me transfer into wholesale instead, to therefore grow my business. So.
What were the kind of two main things you noticed in terms of differences between online arbitrage and wholesale? Let's say, for example, profitability and sort of workflow as well. What were kind of the differences between the two when you switched?
Yeah. So obviously, in terms of profitability, with wholesale, as I said before, like it can generate really big returns. Obviously, depending on the product. I'd say with wholesale, you're able to kind of replenish the product, certain products, way more than you can do with online arbitrage, because obviously I had less time, obviously, while working to kind of look for certain deals, kind of source a lot through certain websites and shops. But with wholesale, if you're able to get, quite a good product from a wholesaler, you can therefore replenish and keep on selling it.
So a lot of people talk about like suppliers when it comes to wholesale, and a lot of people have issues and they come to me, they might even come to you as well and say like, I struggle to find wholesale suppliers. How did we go about finding our first products, our suppliers and things like that? What was sort of how we navigated around those challenges and how you did?
Yeah, so what I was taught was to kind of look for the products first instead of the supplier, because it would be easier. So I looked for certain products, and then obviously the suppliers will come off the back of that.
Yeah. And how did you sort of like go about contacting those suppliers? A lot of people are unsure about what to do. They kind of freeze. And how did you navigate around that?
Yeah, honestly, just picking up the phone, obviously calling suppliers, just to see, talk about their products, if I'll be able to like obviously, work or do business with them, or just sending literally an email. So.
Now you just spoke about like calling suppliers, contacting suppliers, finding products. This is a lot of stuff to do alongside your 9 to 5, which you're doing. You also have like another business I know that you're doing. How did you manage everything? A lot of new sellers struggle, or they get overwhelmed by all this time that they need to put in. What was the main drive for you, and how did you manage to kind of keep going?
Obviously, I'm not gonna lie, it was very, very hard. Obviously, balancing everything. Obviously, again, with my 9 to 5 job, I kind of have to do more of the work kind of in the evenings, after work. Obviously, again, balancing was very hard, but I kind of had that urge that I wanted to kind of, create, like make income from another kind of side hustle. I'd say if you have that kind of determination and will to do something, then you'll be able to do it really.
So did you sort of create like your own routine, a specific like planning thing, a schedule when going about balancing everything?
I'd say at the start I didn't really have a plan. I kind of just went all in, because obviously balancing everything was quite hard. But then it did get to a time where stuff was getting difficult, and then what I decided to do was speak to people in the group in a similar situation to me, to get kind of support and insight into how they balance what they do. Also, with you being at uni as well, you kind of gave me that support. We made a plan of how to kind of balance everything and work everything out. So.
Now, a lot of new sellers struggle with managing their inventory, shipments, and that's even as a beginner seller when they're doing a couple shipments, maybe a week. Obviously, you scaled into wholesale. You were doing some pretty big shipments, having orders sent to your unit, your house, etc. Yeah. How did you manage that as well, if you could give advice to new sellers?
Obviously, again, it was hard managing, but obviously through your support and through the Discord, I was able to kind of manage my inventory through like an Excel spreadsheet. So every time, obviously, I ordered products that would come to my house, I would be able to kind of, put that on an Excel spreadsheet, maybe talking about the quantity, unit price, the profit, etc. Just to keep track of, everything I have. So. Yeah.
And you use software for that as well, with sort of your inventory, your profits. Obviously, you mentioned profits. Yeah. Do you use software for that as well?
Yeah, so you use different software such as like SellerAmp, Keeper, that we use just to see the profit from a product that I want to potentially buy. So.
And obviously, do you use Seller Board as well for sort of profit? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Seller Board was really good. It was kind of like an updated Excel version.
Yeah.
Because it literally gave you everything. Once you connected it to your seller account, it gave you all the information that you really needed to kind of keep track of your inventory. So.
And what advice would you give, again, to new sellers who are struggling to send shipments on time, struggling to keep track of profits, just because even on Seller Board, you have to fill out your profits as well. It's not just it does it all for you. You still have to fill things out. You still have to kind of keep track of invoices. How did you manage to do all of that?
I'd say, obviously, initially, it was really hard, obviously, again, balancing everything. But I just literally had to force myself to do everything. So in terms of like sourcing, sending off products, I kind of just forced myself, even when I didn't want to, because obviously I decided to start this side hustle. And obviously, if I want to see a great success, then I'm going to have to be disciplined. So yeah, that's advice I'd give to new sellers, just to be disciplined, stick at it, and then you'll reap the rewards at the end.
So just to finish off, I want to ask you, if you could go back in time and start again, what are things that you would do differently? Any like sort of regrets or anything that you would change if you started again?
I wouldn't say any regrets, but I feel like, obviously I don't regret really failing in my first year, because obviously I've learned a lot from failing, and that's obviously brought me to where I am now. And I feel like keeping track of invoices is something I would have changed, because, Amazon can pop out of nowhere just to ask for an invoice for a certain product.
Now, motivation and focus as well. How did you stay motivated, stay disciplined when the business wasn't performing? A lot of people don't speak about with Amazon. Sometimes you do have dips when you go like VAT registered, for example, and you're not prepared, or all of these little things. How did you stay motivated? How did you stay focused?
I'd say in terms of obviously starting the side hustle, was my aim goal was to make, a second kind of income. And obviously with 9-to-5 money, I knew it wouldn't really fulfill me in the long term. So I think just, being determined, staying motivated, keeping at it was the main drive for me. I'd also say, again, with any business, you're not always going to see great results maybe every month. So I also had that in mind that maybe some months will be bad, but I knew other months would be really good as well.
So if you had to give 3 top tips to all FBA sellers trying to hit their first 10K month in sales or their first 100K, what would you say to them?
I'd say my 3 top tips would be just really, the first one being like just doing the little things every day, whether that be just updating your Excel spreadsheet and just keeping track of your inventory, etc. I'd say my second thing would be obviously just setting short-term and long-term goals. I feel like that's one thing I kind of needed to do earlier, which obviously I'm starting to do now. So just maybe every start of the month, write down a list of goals that you have that you want to achieve for the end of the month, and in terms of long-term, maybe the year end. And my last advice would be to align your expectation with how much you're putting in, because I feel like same with me, I was a culprit with new sellers. You're kind of expecting big straight away, but if you're able to put in a lot of work, then you're going to receive bigger results. So
yeah, the less you put in, the less you get back.
Exactly.
I feel like a lot of people treat it like a side hustle. They want 100K, 300K results per year. Obviously, we both saw that when you treat it like a side hustle,
you get side hustle results.
Yeah, and obviously you were actually my first ever student. Yeah. So what would you sort of sum up the mentorship as? How did you find it? How was it in terms of everything?
Yeah, so obviously at the start I did say my expectations wasn't as high because of what I've been through, but I feel like having that community there is really good, because we're able to support each other when we get stuck on things, and I'm obviously able to support other people as well, and also just getting to meet you, getting to meet my mentor, showing that you actually care about your students is a really big thing for me. I say the last thing is obviously it's been a year. And you're still teaching me, because with some mentors, they kind of leave you after a few months really and forget about you, but it just shows that you care really. And in terms of like the quality of the teaching is literally top notch. You obviously update us with a lot of stuff. We have them weekly calls with the rest of the group, and yeah, so I'm loving it really. So yeah, from my experience so far, obviously I've enjoyed it. It's been worthwhile. I'd definitely advise new sellers, people who want to start a side hustle, to definitely join the community, because it will benefit them, especially if they do want to make money outside of a normal job.
Yeah, definitely. And if any of you are new, any of you are already selling and you want that extra support, you want to scale, you want to learn, I'll leave all the links in the description. Join the Discord, join the free community. There's no charge on there, and I'll be happy to help you. You'll receive support, you'll receive some free guidance on actually just how to start, or even some little tips on scaling. And then if you want more of that sort of one-to-one option, kind of like what we did, just drop me a DM on my Instagram. I'll leave that in the description as well. Just DM me about your situation, what you need help with, and I'm very happy to sort of book a call with you, jump on a call, or even just sort of reply to you about how I can help, how we can sort of improve your situation and kind of get you to where you want to go to. But that's everything from me, and thanks for watching. We'll be doing more videos like this in the future, more students, hopefully more great results, and some more challenges coming soon. So keep posted, like, subscribe, comment the word FBA for an updated free class, which I'm going to do. I'm going to be hosting more live webinars and more live free classes for everyone who either, like I said, wants to scale or start their Amazon business. Thank you for watching, and keep subscribed.